Wellness Center, and welcome back to another session of Sequestered Chef. I'm Scarlett, and we are going to get out of my kitchen again this week. But before we do that, I want to introduce you to someone that if you have been coming to some of the nutrition classes at the Wellness Center, you already know. This is Daryl Andrews, and he's with the Healthy Grocery Store Tour. And as y'all know, we were doing some nutrition summit classes before COVID-19. So those are on hold until this is over. So we hope to see you again in person soon, and maybe in July or August. But I wanted Daryl to tell us a little bit as the stores are starting to open back up, and we can actually go in and get some groceries now because the shelves seem to be pretty stocked. Just some things to look for, and you can actually contact Daryl, and down in the show notes of the video I will give you his contact information. But he does these tours all the time, and I'm just going to let him run through what you talk about in a tour, and then after that we will head out to a grocery store and walk you through some of the aisles. So Daryl, go ahead and thank you for coming and being part of this.
Thank you for having me.
And just tell us a little bit about what somebody can expect when they sit down with you to start the tour.
Okay, sure thing. Again, Daryl Andrews with the Healthy Grocery Store Tour. I like to tell people that we're actually more than just a walk or a tour through the grocery store aisles. We actually spend, normally a tour is about 2 to 2.5 hours, but we spend at least half of that time going through a food list that I provide, and I try to put it into something real easy and accessible that you can carry with you carry with you to the grocery store, carry with you to work. But we spend a lot of time going over the why we do's and the why we don'ts of the food list. I really want it to sink in of why you need to do this or why you don't need to do this. Three of the main focuses of the Healthy Grocery Store Tour is we teach how to balance the blood sugar, how to improve gut health, and how to lessen inflammation in the body.
Wow, those three things alone will make huge improvements in just the way you feel every day. So
absolutely, it will.
I can't wait for us to take the tour and you to give us some pointers. But so the food list that you have in there, kind of give us some ideas of what kind of things are on it.
Sure. We go over a lot of different areas or departments. I mean, we go through protein, fruits and vegetables. We talk a lot about healthy fats as well. We'll talk about sweeteners, and maybe we can hit that a little bit whenever we do some spots in the grocery store. Herbs and spices, condiments. We talk about sugar, foods to avoid. And I also provide like a small shopping list as well. Okay. One big point on the Healthy Grocery Store Tour is that we learn how to read labels.
Oh, my favorite.
Yep, Scarlett's favorite. There's a lot of sneaky things that big food companies do and that you need to pay attention to when doing your grocery store shopping, especially whenever you're trying to make a healthier change.
Right, and you're right. If you don't know how to read a food label, you're already behind the 8 ball when you get in the store. And if you just read the front of the label or the packaging of the box, the words that are used, they have a lot different meaning than you think they do. So learning how to read the back of the label is so important. So I'm excited that we're going to get to go and do this tour, and I'm even more excited that after this video that you might want to contact Daryl and get your own tour, your very own personal tour. I guess you sit down in the store for just a little bit and go over that notebook first.
Yeah, normally, and with everything going on with COVID-19, I really wasn't able to do that. I really moved to doing virtual tours via
awesome.
Zoom.
Okay.
So, just like everybody else, we had to start doing things virtually. But I think it's getting to where now, with things opening back up, the normal tour is sitting in the grocery store, maybe in a sitting area or outside, and going through the food list and what I mentioned, the why we do's and the why we don'ts of everything.
And do you, if someone wants to take a tour, do you go to their grocery store or do you just go to a certain
I'll go to any grocery store.
So
it's
better if they go to theirs so
they
know where everything is.
Wherever you're comfortable.
Okay, all right. Well, how about we head out and get to the grocery store?
Sounds like a great idea.
All right, thanks.
So we're here at the apples, and apples are probably my favorite fruit just because they're really perfect on the glycemic index. You can have up to 4 to 6 apples a day. Now through this, you kind of become an apple snob or an apple connoisseur. Honeycrisp are my favorite, but I like to catch them in the fall when they're in season and they're on sale. My second favorite would probably be Fuji apples. They're a good sweet apple. If you'd like something a little bit more tart, you want to do something like a Granny Smith. But as you can see, you have a lot to choose from here. So getting bored with an apple would probably be a hard thing to do. And if you notice, these are really out in the open here and a lot of people touch them. So one of my tips for all of your produce whenever you get it home is fill the sink with water. Take about a cup and a half of white vinegar and just soak your produce in there while you're putting up your groceries. So maybe about a good 30 minutes, and then just rinse and let it dry or dry it off, and you're good to go and you got clean produce.
What a great tip. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so now we are over in the section of Great Confusion, the sugar aisle.
That's right.
So Daryl is going to educate us.
Well, like Scarlett said, you can see there's a lot of prone to confusion here because you have a lot of options, and sometimes the options can be overwhelming. We all are familiar with a lot of these sweeteners here. Stevia is one of the sweeteners that we suggest for the Healthy Grocery Store tour, and also what Fitter by Farr suggests as well. But you still have to read your labels. Don't take for granted that what's on the front is, makes it healthy and a good choice. So we have stevia in the raw here, 0 calorie sweetener, but you still, I always say a good rule of thumb when you grocery shop is if it goes in your buggy, you still need to turn it around and read the label.
Great.
Yes.
So let me look. Right here is a small box of stevia, and you're holding
the big bag.
The big bag.
So
tell us the crazy secret about that.
Well, I mean, it does make sense. We're more prone to buy the big bag if we're using it every day. But you still, again, want to read the label because one of the first ingredients on here is something called maltodextrin. And maltodextrin is a corn-based filler. And on the glycemic index, table sugar is at a 60, and maltodextrin is at a whopping 140 to 160.
Oh my goodness.
So this is actually going to spike your blood sugar more than table sugar is. So that's why we still need to be careful and read our labels.
So if you want to use stevia, it's smarter to buy and just open multiple packets of
multiple packets be better. One of the brands that I recommend as far as sweeteners go is Truvia, because it just uses erythritol and stevia.
Okay.
Both are sweeteners that will not spike your blood sugar, and they're very safe to use. So this would be a good option for you.
Great advice. Okay, so tell us a baking secret.
All right, this is a secret weapon right here. This is actually used in a bakery that I visited in Warner Robins, the Tasty Prayer cookie bar. But this is Swerve. They make confectioner's sugar, they make brown sugar, which I use the brown sugar in my oatmeal, and I also make it with some fried apples that I make too. But this is mainly made with erythritol, which is another sweetener that will not spike your blood sugar. Again, they make confectioner's sugar, so you can make different like frostings. You can use it in cakes, and again, I like the brown sugar as well. So they carry a few different products, and up until recently, you could really only find this in a couple of places, and now you can find Swerve in almost every grocery store.
And today we're in Publix, so definitely you can find it here.
Yep, you can definitely find it here. So this is good stuff. So look for the Swerve brand.
Thank you. Now we're going to talk about some different meat options and educate us on that, Daryl.
Sure. One thing that I don't recommend are the plant-based meats, the impossible meats or the fake meats, as we call them. A lot of these, well, this one says it doesn't have soy in it, but a lot of these do have soy, and they're so man-made that we still are dealing with a lot of additives and preservatives. So this is the plant-based meats, the impossible meats are something that I don't recommend.
Okay.
I always say natural is better. For meats, I always recommend something as far as beef goes, like grass-fed beef, antibiotic-free, hormone-free. And the reason why I say antibiotic-free and hormone-free is because we don't want those. We don't want those in our body because they're endocrine disruptors. Anything that messes with the hormones in our body can interfere with things, especially like weight loss.
Okay.
If we're trying to lose weight, something like the hormones and the antibiotics that they put in meats can actually interfere with that progress.
Okay, and same not just for beef, but chicken.
For chicken as well. Yeah.
Look for the hormone-free.
Yep, hormone-free, antibiotic-free. You also want to look for nitrate-free as well.
Okay.
Nitrates are preservative, and
Especially in the processed meats.
especially in processed meats.
Right. Those are hard to get away from if you're eating processed.
Yes.
Hot dogs are not good for us. That is sad fact.
Hot dogs would be probably one of the Charlotte and I
number
are
one
still
things.
cruising the grocery store, and we noticed the Boca Burgers and the Morning Star Farms, plant-based burgers or veggie burgers. And this is also something that I don't recommend. Again, something natural like grass-fed beef is really the winner. But the main ingredient in these, and even in the Morning Star, is soy. And soy is also something that interrupts or interferes with the hormones in our body. It's also genetically modified.
Those are all words to stay away from.
Those are all words that you want to stay away from. And they even have it on the front here. These are for soy burgers. Normally soy is also very high in estrogen as well. And high levels of estrogen have been linked to breast cancer.
So you definitely want to at least monitor how much of that you're eating.
Exactly. Just take a little extra time. Buy a pack of ground beef, grass-fed, antibiotic-free, hormone-free. Just pat out the burgers and take a little extra time and go ahead and cook them and get them ready for the week.
That's a great tip. The beverage aisle, and Daryl's got some tips for us here too.
Yep. First and foremost, we always want to get our water intake in each day. But I do know that we do have our soda lovers out there, and I always encourage you to kick that soda habit, but we always want to get our water intake in each day. But once that's done and it's time for a treat, this is one of my secret weapons that I recommend here. It's called Zevia. There are no colors, no artificial flavors. It is a carbonated beverage, but grape has to be one of my favorites.
But there's lots of choices.
There's
down
lots of
here.
choices. Yep, we
Look at all
got
these
cream
choices.
soda, root beer, Dr. Zevia, ginger ale, and they actually do make one that tastes like Mountain Dew called Mountain Zevia.
Oh wow! So if you're a Coke drinker,
Yep.
this is definitely something you should check out.
Yep, because they do have a cola flavor as well. So this is a good secret weapon. One of these a day are good for a treat. I don't recommend
All day.
a 6-pack a day. We always want to make sure that water is first and foremost. This is a
Right,
treat.
and one of the guidelines we talk about in our class is take your body weight and divide it in half, and that's how many ounces we should drink.
That's right.
So that's a good place to start.
Yep.
Okay, good tip. Okay, we've moved on to the dairy section, and Daryl's going to give us some information that might surprise you because it surprised me.
Yeah, well, I might break some hearts here because usually all of us love cheese. I know I do. But one thing that I like to point out is it's time to break out the old hand cheese grater. I only recommend block cheese and white cheese without the yellow or the other colorings in there. So cheeses like mozzarella, white cheddar. Cabot's a good brand because they make a white cheddar. But I don't know if Scarlett can get in on this, but that many ingredients shouldn't be in a pack of cheese.
True.
One of the ingredients we talked about a little bit earlier on the sweeteners was maltodextrin. This also has cellulose in there, and potato starch and sugar as well. So
Oh, not sugar.
yep, sugar in the cheese. So you'd think something like this would be totally safe, but a surefire bet is going to be just getting the old block cheese and breaking out the old hand grater and getting it done.
And it only had just a few ingredients.
You're just looking at fresh pasteurized milk, cheese culture, salt, and enzymes. That's it.
All you should have in
That's all you should have in cheese.
All
Keep
right.
it healthy.
Let's move down to yogurt.
Yep.
Okay, we're in another totally confusing section of the store. So Daryl's going to give us some good tips about what to and what not to get.
Yep. One of the first things that when people are trying to make a change, a healthy change, one of the first go-tos that they do for breakfast is yogurt or for a snack. And you have to be really, really careful because most yogurts are presented as a healthier option. But it goes back to the rule of thumb. If it goes in your buggy, you still need to read the label. Because we're looking at some Yoplait made with real fruit yogurt here. And I'll just read some of the ingredients. One of the main ingredients is sugar.
Oh yeah, and tell us about added sugar and what the American Heart Association recommends.
Yeah, the American Heart Association recommends 36 grams of sugar for a man and 24 grams of sugar per day for a lady. And this one here, we're looking at 20 grams of sugar.
So there went my budget for the day.
So there went your budget for the day. One of the things that we try to do is provide healthier options. With Fitter by Farr in the Healthier Grocery Store tour. Oiko's 000 yogurt is always a good go-to, and they have a lot of different flavors to choose from as well. So again, be careful when you think that you have something healthy. You still want to read the label. And good point, Scarlett, about the sugar intake. You would really blow your sugar intake for the day with just almost one serving of this yogurt.
Right. Okay, good stuff. I hope you enjoyed the grocery store tour with Daryl and Healthy Grocery Store tour. I hope you learned a few things that maybe you didn't know before about shopping in the grocery store and how important it is to read labels. And like I mentioned before, I'm going to put Daryl's information down in the show notes so you can contact him if you would like to take a video or a tour with him that's not video but a real tour with him, since grocery stores are starting to open up. And if you feel like you just need a little hand holding on the label reading, I'm sure Daryl will be glad to talk to you and set that up at the grocery store of your choice. So I will see you next week for another episode of The Sequestered Chef. Have a good week.